Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer, coming to us from Chicago right now. We are looking at Sunday, Christmas Day NBA player props for you guys. 5 games to choose from that I believe we'll all be watching all day as we hang out with our families, I imagine. We are going to be bringing you 4 game videos as well that you can check out, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Check out everything we are talking about for those Christmas Day games as well. Also head to thelines.com. That's where we have our great written content for you guys and our odds finder tool that Nate and I have been using to get the best juice we can, the best odds that are available on all of these NBA player props and bets you can make this season. Nate, let's just go ahead and jump right into your first NBA player prop for the 25th.
Yeah, I mean, we expect the Warriors and Grizz to have the highest scoring game of the night here. Warriors on some extra rest. And it's going to be Jordan Poole's show to run with Steph Curry out. Surprised to see them set it at 23.5 points for Poole. I probably would have thought 25, 26.5, given the circumstances. I mean, without Steph, he averages 27.5 points per game this season. His usage rate bumps to 37%. And that's in 7 games. Most of them on the road, so it skewed his home road splits, but he's been a little bit more efficient at home, where he shoots 34% from 3. Memphis allows the 5th most 3-point attempts, and they allow opponents to shoot 40% from 3 when they're on the road. So not the best overall numbers in his last few against Memphis. He did start that playoff series hot with Steph out there before cooling down as it got bogged down. But Memphis playing pretty up and down right now, pretty freewheeling, and they protect the paint really well, but they do not guard the 3-point line as well, and they do not deal with quick shooting guards like Poole, who's getting at least 1.5 points per minute his last 6 regular season against Memphis. So if you do the math, if he plays 32 to 38 minutes here, as long as it's not a blowout, I think he's getting 24 points.
Well, I'll talk about that in a minute on my end, but the blowout aspect of things, just because I think it might be. We'll see, obviously, if which Warriors defense shows up. Is it the one that is non-existent on the road, or is it the one that does just enough to have a decent home record or good home record this season, as they play really, really well on offense at home. So, I mean, 229 is the total in this one. There are a few games around 230, 231 on the day, including the Lake Show and that Suns Nuggets games that are expected to go about 230 as well. So all those games should be in the high 220s, low 230s, but that might be because Memphis scores like 125 and it's like to 110. And this game's kind of over by the, beginning of the 4th quarter. I just don't really, I have no belief in the Warriors, and they're going to have to sort of pull one of these random games out of their hats that Clay scores 25 and Jordan Poole scores 33 and Draymond has like 9, 8, and 7. And I don't know why I would believe in that right now when Steph Curry's not on the floor. But either way, Jordan Poole, 23.5 points, like you said, the reason to take it and start off the show with it is it's just a little bit low for a guy that we expect to play really well at home in this one. So I'm going to go with our second over of the day here, and JoJo Embiid. I'm kind of going 3 for 1 here. I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you, but I like Joel, 40.5 points and rebounds to start on DraftKings. That's minus 115. I also like heading over to FanDuel and getting a double-double plus a win for JoJo at plus 174 there, and get some pretty good money for him to basically get 10 rebounds is what you're saying there. His rebound prop itself is at 9.5, but it's like minus 130 on DraftKings specifically, so it's sort of expected in a way. Not getting great juice there on just the rebounds at less than, essentially just for him to get 10. His last 8 games since Harden's return, and the reason I really like the points and rebounds and it combined is because of the points more than anything. 36 points a game in his last 8 since James came back, 9.9 boards, right at 10, and then 4 assists. But the 56-52 splits I love, and that's on 2.5 threes a game, but making 1.5 of them, and then the 11 for 12 from the free throw line. Love seeing that he's back at the free throw line 12 times a game with a 36.7% usage rate, and that's also because James Harden's usage rate has been going down. He's just been diming up people to the tune of 21 assists last night in a beautiful comeback win for for them against the Clippers. And yeah, I think this is just a moment for, I'll talk about Harden actually, because I do think that alternate assist for him is nice. They're 9.5 on DraftKings at -145. If you just bump that up to 10.5 and get it right at about even odds, +105 for him to get 11 assists in this one, I think that's way worth getting that there. Since he's been back in the 8 games, 20 points, 12 assists, just 15 field goal attempts, and just 7 3-point attempts a game, which is huge for him. He was taking 10 before he got hurt, which is indicative of him obviously playing a lot more pass, thinking pass first, which you love to see with JoJo over there with Embiid going, look, I can score 35 any single time if you just give me 20 to 25 touches. I'll get that, and that's the amount he's been putting up. So I do think the safest bet here is to take the points and rebounds for him at 40.5. If like the double is fine, just because I guess you get the juice, and if you like the Harden to continue diming people up against the Knicks team that has kind of come back to earth on defense over their last 2 after being the best defense in the league. They're now 29th in their last 2 games, losing those 2 to the Bulls and the Raptors, and largely in part because they're not rebounding on the defensive end the way they were, giving up a lot more offensive rebounds and second chance points, and that's where JoJo can come in and eat.
Yeah, what do you have? 27 free throw attempts the last time he faced the Knicks at the Garden. Yeah, he's going to be attacking. They can't stop him. And I think even if it's kind of a choppy, low-scoring game at times, I still think he's a good bet for 30, and Harden for his stats. Maybe not as high on the assists if it's a choppy game, like because you don't get assists for him going to the line, but he'll be teeing up Embiid with those passes. That's been their whole offense. It's been 2 guys, really, the 2-man game. I'm sticking with this game and going under on Julius Randle, either 23.5 points or the 33.5 points rebounds, I think. Mainly because I think the Sixers are playing really good defense, number 1 turnover rate, 103 defensive rating in their 6-game win streak. And PJ Tucker is a real pest if you're a power forward who generally is used to being able to have freedom of motion. Tucker's a master of being able to hand check you and not let you get where you want to go without getting those fouls. In his last 3 against a team with PJ Tucker on it, Randall 13 points per game, 8 rebounds, shooting 1 for 12 from 3 with 32% field goal shooting and 14 turnovers in 3 games. And he struggled against physical, tough defenses lately. You look at his last 3 home games against Memphis, Milwaukee, Cleveland, combined for 16.5 points and 9 rebounds, shooting 36%. Less production at home, including fewer free throw attempts, including worse 3-point shooting for Randall, lower usage despite playing more minutes. So it's not like it's a blowout situation where the Knicks are handling people. I mean, this could be a close game and he could still struggle. And for what it's worth, I mean, his Christmas numbers, 25 and 12 last Christmas against the Hawks, who had nobody. I think it was a COVID squad. It was like the BC team. And then the 3 prior, 13 points per game, 7 rebounds per game. So Knicks usually play this noon game early, and he does not really tend to show up that early.
Yeah, I think Julius Randle is a late sleeper. That's exactly what I was going to say, because that seems to be the case when they play these early games. And Christmas doesn't seem to be his day either. I was definitely looking for an under in that game. I was just going, is it RJ? Is it Jalen Brunson? Or is it Julius, really, who I think is going under in this one? And I think Jay Randle is a better bet there, as you've seen, the 76ers actually get a bit better at rebounding, still worse than you would like, to be honest. But they've definitely got that interior defense pretty locked in, and actually also the best wing defense in the league this year because of that man that you said. I mean, PJ Tucker comes to a new team, and all of a sudden that team is like in the top 5 and guarding the 3 in the perimeter, and that's not a coincidence. So yeah, I think that's a good bet that for him to be able to chase Jay Randall all over the floor, which is a hard guard for a ton of different guys, unless you have the versatility and the strength to guard down low like PJ can, and as well outside on the perimeter. So. Although I will say Jay Randall made Draymond Green look like a little bouncy toy the other day as he just put him on a ride to the basket. PJ Tucker's not quite as washed yet, but I am going to go to that Warriors Memphis game, as I kind of alluded to at the beginning there, where you talked about Poole. I'm going to talk about Ja Morant, and I don't know if Nate, I haven't really talked about this pick with him, so I don't know if he's about to just berate me for it. But I'm taking under on Ja Morant points at 27.5. It's -110 on DK to go under on that. It's -120 if you want the over. So obviously it's the the odds there telling you they think it's a little more likely he goes over. But either way, this team is back to full strength. I think there's some pretty good reasoning to think. I thought it was going to be closer to 28.5, 29.5, and then I was really going to love an under. 27.5 is a bit more fair, but I still think 28 points is too high. The team is back to full strength. We just saw them wipe the floor with the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix Friday night, and that was with Desmond Bane back, which was just a beautiful sighting to see him back on a basketball court. Beautiful sighting to see this team back to full strength with one of the best 5-man lineups that they're going to be able to put out there now that Bane is back. I think they're either about to kill the Warriors like 132-95, or it's going to be a little bit more of a back and forth. Like maybe it does get to 235 in that range. Either way, as far as scoring specifically, I just don't think Ja's going to be doing that quite as much. In his last 10, that's without Desmond Bane playing, obviously, 23 a game and 9 assists. It's the really poor shooting that has hurt him. He hasn't been a threat from deep, 1 for 5 a game from deep, only 40% from the field as well, and just 8 free throw attempts a game. I mean, that's really good for a guard. But for someone who can't shoot from deep right now, and it, isn't exactly a mid-range player, it's either floaters or getting to the rim at that point for Ja. You need to get to the free throw line closer to 10 times, 12 times a game, I would say, to be putting up, the high 20s and low 30s that you would want from him in points. His last 2 in Golden State, where they'll be playing this one 24 a game in 36 minutes. Similar poor splits there as well to what he's been shooting the last 10. Like I said, with Desmond Bane back, with Jared Jackson Jr. back, with all these with options plenty now for this team, I do think he looks to continue diming. If you look at what he's done with and without Desmond Bane last season, just focusing on how much he's shooting, his usage goes down from 36 to 33. So when Desmond's in, it's the 33%, right? When he's out, he's shooting a bunch more. 26 points per game with Desmond Bane since last season on 20 field goal attempts, 32 a game with 25 field goal attempts when Desmond Bane is not playing. And this is, he's playing 32 minutes a game when he is when Desmond Bane is available, and 36 without him. So bunch more everything for Ja. I think there's just a good reason to feel like the way he's been playing, not poorly, just poor shooting and better team basketball with more options available. I think under 27.5 points is a good bet for him.
This actually opened at 28.5. So I guess Josh isn't alone in people initially attacking the under. I worry that the logic's a little too simple to say Desmond Bane is back and therefore Ja's not going to have as high a usage rate. I mean, he still has plenty of 30-point games with Bane in the lineup. And the Warriors have been so bad defensively, particularly guarding the paint rather than the 3-point line, that I'm not really that worried about how he shoots. I was almost going to take Bane over 18.5 points though, but not sure what his minutes will be. And I mean, the blowout over Phoenix, Devin Booker didn't play, and they have nothing when Booker doesn't play. So of course it was a blowout. I just think it's too much of a trap to expect the Warriors to get blown out here on extra rest, coming back home for the first time in a while. I do think it'll be a close game. So I don't know. I think he'll be right around this number, 27 to 30 points. So I think it's kind of scary either way.
I feel you. I mean, I don't have much in argument for that, but yeah, I mean, the blowout isn't necessarily expected. It's just a 4.5 point spread, like we were talking about the other day. It only, sort of switched 8 points. It was 4.5 for the Warriors when Steph was available. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in this one. And what you're going to need is a crazy game from Jordan Poole. You're going to need the sort of once every 5 games that you're getting from Clay, where he scores 25 to 30, which, like I said, doesn't happen more than once every 5 games or so. So the odds of all those things happening are a little bit less. But I'm not saying necessarily that I'm ready to hit Memphis at minus 4.5. Just that it's either going to be a close game within that, or it's going to be a blowout the other way. Just not Memphis getting blown out, essentially. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Like we said, we got 4 game videos up for you on this Sunday slate for Christmas Day. And now we've got these player props. Also want you to head to thelines.com. We are coming back at you next week. So until we see you then, happy betting.